Not too shabby of a start to day 2. Already passed the official word count goal for the day, which would be 3,333 words, and I'm at 3,673 words. Not quite at my personal goal for the day, which would be 4,000 words, but not that far off from it either, which is good because I have an event after work tonight that I keep forgetting about. That may make it difficult to do the 9 p.m. sprint I want to do. I think I am going to pack the tablet with me so that if the event runs over, I can maybe find some place to just park myself and write at 9 o'clock just to keep that rhythm going of 9 and 9. Won't be able to do it every single day, but I think establishing that rhythm early will make it easier in the long run. We'll see. I figured since I actually have my backdrop up, I would go ahead and talk for a few seconds about where I'm at for today's Nano. Today is November 2nd, day 2, and this morning I got up to 3,600 words roughly, which is why we've got 3 leaves colored in here. My previous vlog, that was what I took a picture of because I hadn't taken a picture of anything to do for a thumbnail. So, alright, fine. It had today's leaves colored, but it only had yesterday's numbers. And only yesterday's numbers are here so far because it is still only about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I do plan after the work event that I need to go to in a couple minutes to hopefully get out of there early enough to get home and do a 9 p.m. sprint again. I think I said that in this morning's snippet. That's my rhythm that I got into last year, and since it's only day 2, I don't want to break the rhythm yet. Of course, if it ends up being a 10 o'clock sprint, that's fine too, but I have in my brain that it's 9 and 9, so that's what I'm aiming for. We'll see what happens. So I didn't make it home in time. I'm debating, it's now 9:30, whether I should just start now and do a half-hour sprint or go for 10 o'clock. Here's the thing. I had forgotten that one of the reasons I wanted to make sure to do the 9 o'clock sprint, partly just to stay in the rhythm of it, but also I had signed up for a different thing that is right early at 10 o'clock that I would really like to go to. It's virtual, it's online. But that won't get me words written. And I will probably be exhausted when it's over and not up for doing a sprint after that. Alright, so I made goal. So that's awesome. It's interesting that I seem to be following kind of the same pattern for the morning and evening words. I'm not entirely sure what that means. But I'm so tired right now, I'm not entirely sure I care. So this morning's accomplishments include introducing another character of the ensemble and crossing the 5,000 word mark. Yeah, well, we'll see how much more progress I can make today. Tomorrow is going to be interesting because I have to go to the university, even though it's Sunday, because we have an orientation, or not an orientation, that would be for people who are already admitted. Open house or preview or whatever they're calling it for, high schoolers and their parents who want to see do they want to come apply to our university. So that's going to take a good chunk of the day, and so I want to make sure I get as much writing done as I can today in case I don't make my daily goal tomorrow. On the one hand, I feel like YouTube is trying to tell me to get back to work. On the other hand, I really did want to do some yoga, which, I mean, yeah, I can do yoga on my own, but I really wanted to do this particular practice because beginner's mind is really a good place to be when you are writing. I will link this below. Considering this is not the only video that is not working, I think it's a YouTube thing, so hopefully by the time this is up, you'll be able to actually access it. Now time to try for an afternoon sprint at the place that will keep me from getting distracted at home. Alright, so Saturday night, thought I was going to be doing a usual 9 p.m. sprint, but there are a couple of reasons that's not happening. The first one is I'm not entirely sure what I would write right now. I think some of the ideas that I got started on need to marinate a little bit. I did get over 3,000 words written today, so I'm still ahead of the game. Also, I'm starting to get a sore throat, and I have to be up really early tomorrow to go do this open house at work, and I'm putting sleep as the priority because I would like for this sore throat to be gone. I started reading Save the Cat Writes a Novel also, which has given me some different ideas and things to think about that I may or may not end up incorporating, but leaning more towards May. And I think maybe some of that needs to marinate a little before I can figure out where it's going. So that's it for Saturday. The one thing that's saving me today is the time change, because instead of feeling like I got up an hour and a half early, it feels like I got up a half hour early. That's something. But I'm still having a hard time getting going and losing a lot of time along the way. So I've had to think long and hard about what I'm going to cut, because I still have to leave home at the same time to get to the university. And I don't want to cut anything. But what I can do, rather than doing the hour-long usual Miracle Morning, I think I'm going to do a half-hour version where you do 5 minutes of each of the things instead of, well, theoretically 10, but I have a different pattern that I do because, of course, I can't just do the thing. I have to modify the thing. So that's what I'm going with. Half-hour Miracle Morning. Should still give me time for an hour sprint and shower, dress, hair, makeup, look all nice and professional, and hit the road. Let's see how that goes. I made it! Half-hour Miracle Morning, half-hour sprint, ready and raring to go. Hair should be dry by the time I get to work so that I actually look, professional. So, calling that a good start to the day. Sunday evening, take 2. So, I did my open house, and that's good. Did some other work stuff, all good. Also did the live stream write-in with Kate Kavanaugh and Becca C. Smith, which I will link below. Then shot this video the first time. And while I was just trying to edit the past couple days together, realized that for some reason the audio on this one, or the one I did earlier, was way off. So, trying again, and maybe I can even be less long-winded. I had a few aha moments today. One was that while I've been thinking about how the TV show that inspired this and the character that inspired this influences this story, and how to make sure it's only an inspiration and an influence, I hadn't realized that I could look to other things, I suppose, as influences structurally. What I ended up looking at is Harry Potter, because my lead character is in school, and Harry Potter is structured around the academic year. I mentioned that I started reading Save the Cat Writes a Novel. They talk about showing the character in various different areas of their life before and after the inciting incident. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to actually have to show her in class then. Which is risky, because since I teach nursing and she's a nursing student, I could end up writing a lecture instead of a chapter. Trying not to do that. But looking to Harry Potter and some of the scenes that were done in classes there is giving me ideas of, excuse me, what to include, what not to include, what to focus on. Because, okay, those were fun scenes because they were arithmancy and potions and whatever. Actually, I don't think we ever saw an arithmancy class because only Hermione took that, but whatever. They were fun, different things that none of us had experienced. But there were also character-specific things that were going on and plot-specific things that were going on. Thinking about that is helping me structure what I actually put in any classroom scenes and other around campus scenes, because even though it's university as opposed to high school, it is residential, and Hogwarts was a boarding school. So again, some of what's good to include and what's not. It is not a magical university, so there's no flying candles at the dinner table or any fun stuff like that. So there's not a whole lot to say about the cafeteria, for example. But then the focus needs to be on the characters. If I'm actually having a scene over dinner, that's probably because they need to be talking about something and I needed to put them somewhere. And focus on the character, not the setting, in that instance. So that was one of my big aha moments today. Another was what the point of a particular scene was going to be. Because I had added an extracurricular event for her to attend, and as I'm describing it during the writing sprint this afternoon, I'm thinking, okay, this is great, but why? Why is this scene here? What is it doing here other than showing her life before the inciting incident? Fortunately, that showed up, so more foreshadowing. Because again, each of these scenes are supposed to show something about the character before, so then you can see the difference after. But I feel like there has to be some more going on there too. And when you look at Harry Potter, really is a good example for this structurally. There are a whole lot of scenes prior to him even finding out he's a wizard. Each and every one of them has not only character relevance but plot relevance in some way. So I'm trying to bear that in mind with this. Those are my big aha moments for the day. Also, I did cross the 10K mark, which I'm thrilled about because that was one of my big goals this weekend. I do still have one more sprint to do later. It is just about 6:30 p.m. and that'll probably be around 9. But I'm going to cut this here anyway because there's already enough footage to deal with. And hopefully the audio is going to work this time. So before I let this get too much longer, I'm just going to sign off. Say there's more information below about any upcoming writing sprints I know about, main NaNoWriMo website, the AuthorTube Nano Discord that I set up, and anything that I promised I would link. Hopefully I will have remembered to link as well. Until next time, I hope you have a great day. Bye.